Hello everybody, Road Warrior 627 here, and welcome to another Thoroughbred Racing preview here on my channel. Today we're going to talk about the Kentucky Derby, of course everybody's favorite race, and of course that's sarcasm because it's not my favorite race, and I'm kind of making this video as an afterthought just because I feel like I need to. Really don't care for this year's race, but we'll get into that later. So I have two people that perhaps care a little bit more than I do, thank God. And those two people are, of course, number one, Sammy Roseman. How you doing, Sammy?
Happy Derby week, everyone.
Happy Derby week. And a new special guest today. We have Aaron, otherwise known as Justify on Twitter. What is that, Justify3107?
Yeah,
Okay, so it's very nice to have you here, Aaron. I
thank
appreciate
you.
you coming on and giving your insight into this race. Definitely, of course, go follow Sammy at Roseman Sammy and Aaron at Justify3107 on Twitter. So, this year's race is, I would say, a little bit wide open. There's two clearly defined choices in Mike Battaglia's mind. I'm not quite sure if there's two clear choices in the public's mind. And I'm sure who Mattress Mac is going to bet is going to have a say on who's going to be the favorite. So, what do you guys think about the top contenders, Epicenter and Zandon?
Epicenter. I mean, I it didn't make sense how everybody hyped him out to be the Derby favorite, and the morning line comes out and Mike Battaglia has him as the second choice. I don't know. That was a little weird. But I mean, Epicenter, he dominated the Florida Louisiana grounds. He won 3 out of 4 big preps there. I mean, he obviously has a chance, but the downside is I don't know if he might get cooked he might get cooked up front because a lot of horses might get cooked, but I don't know how cooked. I prefer others, but that's just me.
Aaron, you have any thoughts on Epicenter?
I have I have a little concern. I don't like him all the way inside of the speed. Summer Smartle, Messier, Crown Pride, Target, they're all outside him. I'd rather like him be. That's something I didn't like about the draw.
Yeah, his hand might get forced early on. Be interesting to see what Rosario does because you'd think he has to keep him somewhere close. Uh, but I mean, the break's going to
Probably
matter
like
too,
fourth, fifth.
as it does every year. Now let's talk about,
And for Zandon,
yeah, the
I'll
morning
go on
line.
Zandon.
Somehow the morning line favorite is Zandon.
Yeah, I mean Zandon deserved to be the second choice too, but I mean Chad Brown has to be drooling over the 10 post. You couldn't ask for anything better, because there's no really speed in front outside of you. I mean, I guess Pioneer and Matina, but how much speed is he going to show? And then you got Classic Causeway, but he's all the way on the outside. But I mean, Zandon only making his 5th start now. Now Derby favorites only make 5 starts now, you know. But that's not the point. I mean, the Resin Star, that was a good effort, you know, coming off the layoff, ran a respectable 3rd. Small happy got to him late, but nobody was catching Epicenter after that. And the Bluegrass, that was just crazy. He he had so much traffic trouble. He overcame all that and pulled away by 2 1/4. That was pretty impressive, and people are going to ban him off of that for sure.
Aaron, what about your thoughts on Zandon?
I really like the horse. I really like the horse. I just hate the running style in this race. But he has Flavien and Pratt, and he hasn't done anything wrong in this race. He gave a great ride on Country House a couple years ago, and if he could replicate that and actually get by the horse in front this time, he could win.
Yeah, I agree. And I do like Zandon a little bit too, and I'll get more into that in just a little bit here. Just want to tell a quick story. This October 9th race, his first race, everybody knows I love to bet Chad Brown. I did not bet Zandon in his first race, and he won it 5-1. So I look like a pretty stupid idiot for not betting him first time out. That's when I really gained my respect for Chad Brown on the dirt. Of course, I always thought he used to get overbet on the dirt, but Zandon started to change my mind, and I made a lot of good money with Chad over the winter at Aqueduct because of how well he did. So now we've talked about the two favorites. There's going to be
He
other
can do it all.
contenders involved. So, but almost all the contenders that are involved we're going to talk about anyway because they're horses we like. So I'm going to let each of us have our say about who we like in the race, and we'll start, I guess, with Sammy. Uh, he said he wanted to go first. I know you like Smile Happy a little bit, Sammy.
Yeah, I like him a little bit, but I don't have a pick yet. But there's some angles that I like about Smile Happy that I would like to speak about because I mean, for this horse to be 20-1 is it's kind of ridiculous if you think about it. If he would have won the Bluegrass, which he might have, if you think about it, if Emmanuel didn't bump him by the top of the stretch and cost him that momentum, he might have had a bigger opportunity. But Corey Leonard moved way too early on him, anyways. But the thing that strikes me the most about him is the Kentucky Jockey Club. You say, oh, yeah, it was in November, but he beat White Abario in Classic Causeway, 2 Derby horses. So far, Smile Happy has already beat 33% of this field. He's finished in front of them, including Zandon in the Risen Star. When Zandon had a clear lead at the top of the stretch. I mean, we're talking about second and third, but still, he was way in front of him and he caught up to him. I mean, it's Corey Lanery, though. I mean, Corey Lanery gave a great ride on Looking at Lee, and if this horse can get the rail like Looking at Lee, he might be a little scary at 20-1.
Anybody else you want to mention, Sammy?
Um, just overall, you said.
Yeah, just anybody else who you might use besides him and the two favorites we
I feel
talked about already.
Zandon, you obviously have to use somewhere. I mean, that horse deserves respect. Flavian Pratt, Chad Brown, that's almost a must use. The way they've been doing this year. Is Chad Brown still over 30%? He's 33%.
Yes, 33.
That's just crazy. Taba was interesting because you don't see horses like him that often, but he's either gonna, like everybody says, he's either gonna be the next. He's either a freak or he's gonna run like trash, basically. And Simplification might actually run well. Jose Ortiz said he messed up on Florida Derby. Wish he did. I don't know why he was that close. I think he should have been a little bit. Because he won the Fountain of Youth coming way off the pace, and then he was second by a head. But Mo Donegal. People are, which I don't understand. People are mad about the one post. I mean, I don't see a problem. He's going to be dead last. He's going to be near the back end. Anyways, he's won from the one post 2 times already, and you get IRAC, so I don't see the problem there. But yeah.
Okay, Sammy, let's move on to Aaron. I know you were interested in the 1-2 finishers from the Santa Anita Derby. So how about, what do you like about them?
I like Messier. He's like the perfect Derby horse. Everything about him kind of reminds me of like an American Pharaoh type. His like style, his looks, his build, the mechanics, and he works really well. His last race was very good. He probably could win a few of the preps run across the country, but he just lost to the better horse that day. And he looks great on track, full of energy, so you can't be disappointed with that.
And what about Taiba?
Just the raw potential. There's a lot too much potential for him to not be a good horse, but it might not be here because it's a really tough ask on a 2 race horse. But he's shown the talent, and he could get a pretty similar setup to the Santa Anita Derby, but definitely like more horses in front of him. If Mike could get him in gear late, like turning for home, his kick is incredible. You can just motor him down if he has enough.
Yeah, what I was going to ask is, where do you think in the pack he's going to be? Because that's I could see him as close up as maybe 4th or 5th, and as far behind as 11th or 12th. Do you think he fits somewhere in the middle there?
I say like 5th, 6th. I don't think he's like that. Like he'll be like 10th, 11th. Too far back, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think Smith knows that recent runnings of the Derby have been kinder to horses closer to the front. They've also been kinder to horses on the inside for whatever reason, and that's something that Taiba is not going to get in this race unless something totally freaky happens. So before I talk about my horses in this race, and they're two pretty logical ones. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on some of the trends lately that have gone on. And that first thing is what I just talked about, the inside horse. Do you think that Churchill has been grooming the track in a certain way that has been prompting these inside speed results? Because last year was a joke. It was a total conveyor belt racetrack.
Churchill's just always been like that. I feel like it's just basically a merry-go-round. It's been kind of proven. It's a weirder track though. It plays to different shippers. Like recently this week, all the Turfway shippers, they're on fire. They're not losing. I don't know what it is. And you see a Goldstream synthetic horse win. I don't know. It's a little bit tricky, but the rail definitely is very good there. That's just a fact. It's always been. I feel like. Aaron?
I feel like it's just meant to be that you come from the inside and you have the better trip, you win more. It just makes more sense. It's like you always hear, don't go too wide, stay closer to the rail, but don't get trapped. I feel like it just makes sense. It's like the safest formula instead of like going like 6, 7 wide when like that's what most horses do when they lose.
Unless you're Joel Rosario, in which case you take the ground saving trip all the time, and sometimes you get totally boxed in, and then you come running way too late.
Game winner.
I think Game Winner was just wide. Anyway, I'm going to start talking about the horses I like in this race, and there's really only two of them. This Derby for me is just trying to get lucky. I don't really care about the field that much. I don't think any of these horses are particularly that good. I don't think the crop is that good. And I haven't fallen in love with any of the horses per se. So I'm going to just simply be a homer and take the two horses that ran 1-2 in the Remsen, and I'm going to take them in that order, Mo Donegal over Zandon. So let's talk about Mo Donegal first. We got to talk about the Remsen, of course, because it's the race that they both ran in. Of course, Mo Donegal should have came down in that race, no question about it. He fouled Zandon. Irad hit Zandon in the face with his elbow. It was ridiculous. But the New York stewards are incompetent, so of course they left it up. Holy Bull, there's an argument he actually ran a winning race in there. I'm not really too worried about that. And Pletcher, first start for the 3-year-olds, generally they need a race and then they show their best in April. And that's exactly what Mo Donegal did in the Wood Memorial. Now that pace that was set up in the Wood Memorial, you see this C here benefiting closers. That is extremely misleading to me from the Daily Racing Form. If you look at the track at Aqueduct on April 9th, I was there and I watched all these races in person. The track was playing very fast and it was not playing to horses coming from behind. Almost all the races up until Mo Donegal, you were right near the lead on the dirt to win. In fact, a horse that was 4 for 48 managed to wire a claiming race in there, despite setting pretty fast fractions. So I'm totally against the fact that this race set up for a closer, and I think Mo Donegal earned all of that victory running down early voting. So I like this turn of foot. I think the 1.25 miles is perfect. The question is he going to be able to work out a trip? I don't know the answer to that question. What I do think is you're going to get 10-1, and I think 10-1 is fair. I think that if he gets the right trip, and maybe Irad manages to cut somebody off, which isn't great for fairness purposes or safety purposes, it's just the way he rides, I think he's going to be running late and running strong late. Let's talk about Zandon now. Not much to say here. I already told you about the first race. For some reason, there we go. It has loaded. It's just been good. The Risen Star, he was pretty far behind. He got up in the stretch, couldn't beat Epicenter and Smile Happy. Don't really care about that race. He showed what he was made of in the next one in the Bluegrass. And that was another race that, look at those fractions right there. Now you could tell those are slow fractions. Maybe you couldn't tell the ones at Aqueduct. That's a tough pace to close into. And Zandon managed to do it and draw away at the end by 2.5. I have the utmost confidence in Flavian Prat, even though I don't have confidence in NYRA. Just watch last Sunday's race at Belmont, the 7th race, and you'll see that Prat can outride just about anybody, both early and late in the race. So yes, I'm taking 2 closers in here. I know it seems like a dumb idea the way history's been lately, but I do think there's a fair enough amount of pace in here that it could set up for these 2. And plus, I think they're just 2 really good horses that have that late speed that's so important when you're going this kind of distance. So I'm going to take these 2. I don't know if I'm really going to use anybody else. I'm going to play these 2 to win and box them. I think the only other horse that scares me a little bit maybe is Charge It, just because it's Pletcher and he's improving. Last race, I know he couldn't catch White Abario. I really don't care. I think more distance will help him too. He's a Tappet, so of course that leads you to think that he'll be fine with the more distance. So that's really it. I don't think I would use anybody else in this race besides the 1, 8, and 10, because to be honest, nobody else impressed me, and I don't mind losing money on this race because I really don't enjoy it too much. I'm just trying to use the guys who work for me. Pletcher and Chad work for me all the time. Pioneer Medina, not too big a fan of him, but the other 2, Pletchers and Chad, will be my route through this year's Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
And the Charger definitely has potential. He's going to be better as the longer he goes. I mean, with a strong performance here, the Belmont has to be next. I think the Belmont is next, unless this horse just runs absolutely dog. That horse runs like 20th, which won't happen. Like 15th to 20th. Below that, I think you take a shot in the Belmont, right?
I like his style too.
Yeah, he'll be closer to he'll have that stalking trip, and he's probably not going to be too wide either. From the 8 hole, I mean, Saez really didn't have a choice last year after breaking bad with Essential Quality. So he just more or less had to get him up into the clear, and that's what transformed into the wide trip. But I think Charge It kind of have like a stalking, covered up on both sides position early in the race. Alright, so since we've all talked about the horses we like, are there any particular bets that you guys are planning on making?
In this race, I'm probably going to find some value underneath, because you always got to find some value, because there's always going to be a value underneath. I just got to find which horse that is. But in the undercard, I'll probably play a little bit of Chad Brown, because I think he has some loaded horses this year. And obviously, Jackie's Warrior should win.
Aaron, any particular betting strategies for you?
Just like multi race bets, like pick 5s, pick 6s. I want to try and get a 6 out of 6 this year. I got 5 out of 6 last year because Jackie's Warrior won, and I feel really dumb going against him. So I want to get revenge for that.
Did you get the console payout?
It was. I don't think so. Actually, I may have, but it was hardly anything. Don't remember.
Yeah, as I said earlier, in the Derby itself, I'm going to play the 2 horses I like to win. How much that's going to be is dependent on Zandon's price. Might have to play a little bit more on him just to get more back if he's shorter. If he's in that 5-1 range, like I think he might be, then I can get away with a little less and then just box him and Mo Donegal. As far as multis, I'm going to use the 3 Chad Brown horses in the race before, the Turf Classic, and I'm going to use those 3 with Mo Donegal, Zandon, and Charge It just in case in there. So that's only a $9 bet, but all of Chad's horses look pretty live in the Turf Classic, so just going to try and get that going right into the Derby, and if my 2 closers can't come, hopefully Charge It gets it a nice stalking trip and run the race of his life. So the other races on the card I'm not really a big fan of. I'm going to focus most of my attention on Belmont on Saturday. Don't think I'll head out there because the weather looks pretty bad, but play from home and lose my shirt here instead. So, anything else you guys want to talk about for this year's Derby?
I just want to wish everybody best of luck this week. You know, I like how Churchill throws some great races the whole week. Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tomorrow's obviously Derby card, which has a really good 2-year-old stake race. Which yes, they run them in May. But Friday's card is obviously good. Saturday's card is obviously good. So, you can get some good value. So best of luck to everyone playing, and yeah, enjoy the Kentucky Derby.
Aaron, anything else to say to the folks out there?
Good luck to everyone. I just hope we don't have any more controversy in this race.
I
don't think we've had a fair, legitimate run in this race since probably 2018. Too much controversy the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think you're just about right. Yeah, I think that's the thing we have to hope for above all. Cleanly run race, safely run race, good trips for most people. No positive drug tests afterwards, please.
Last year was normal for like a week.
Yeah, for a week.
Or 6 days, whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't have much to say other than if you have an opinion, don't listen to other people, including us, and stick with your own opinion and play it hard. That's how you make your money, is hammering your best opinions. So do that. Don't forget, pay your bills first, and may the odds be ever in your favor. Enjoy the Derby, guys. We'll see you in a little bit, a week for the Man of War card at Belmont, and 2 weeks later for the Preakness. Take care.